All right, welcome everyone to Oneness Talk Radio and Intuitive You. We are so happy you're here with us today, whether it's the evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world tuning into this. And today, I think you guys have probably been watching us. I have my dear, sweet best friend Alyssa with me doing the Intuitive Success Club. And so today we're going to be talking about exactly what that is and why you might even want to consider joining us, because it's just such a special experience. And we were just talking before we came on is, it's a way of being, right? So when you're saying yes, you're having an experience of living an intuitive life. And sometimes I wonder if people wonder, what is an intuitive life? Like, why would you even want to have that perspective? I mean, I know for me, it's like, since I was like 19, people would be like, you think a little bit differently. Like, what's your like way of being, And I was like, well, I just kind of like see from the heart and like everything's beautiful. And if you see your life from that place, and you listen to your intuition and that gut feeling of your inner compass guiding you, in my experience, you get to live your best life. You get to truly create it and know that you are powerful from the inside out. So with that, I want to invite Alyssa on. So this woman is somebody who has done the full program and is now teaching it with me. So she comes from that real live experience, right? So she's not going to lie to you. She's going to tell you the truth. And I know it's changed her life. And I just feel so honored to be doing it with her now, because now we get to help you live your best life. So I think for me, one of the biggest things is integrity. And that means walking my talk. Alyssa's walking her talk, that we're actually the living experience of it. And we know it will work for you too. So Alyssa Williamson, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Abby.
You're welcome.
So, and that just reminded me of something is, as a kid, you're always asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And like, even in your 20s and when you're going to college, people are like, what do you want to be? And I was like, a lot of times I was like, okay, yeah, I had different careers, but really it was like, I just want to be happy. I want to be happy with whatever I end up doing in my life. And that's really where we create, is living in joy. And that can be anything for anyone. Yeah, that was my cup almost there. And it's different for everyone, but really it's living in joy and being happy, and not making happiness a goal, but enjoying the journey so that everything is joyful. Because when you're like, I have to be happy, it becomes something elusive. But when you follow your intuition, you're just doing the things you're innately drawn to, and you're like, this makes me happy. And I didn't expect that this was where I was going to go, but I'm so happy now. And so sometimes you don't know where you're going, but when you listen to your intuition, you just have that joy and happiness and peace in your life.
Wow. I love that. So I think it was last week, Michelle Jones on our team in Australia. So she said this, she's like, Abby, look at the seagull. And it was like Jonathan Livingston's seagull. And there's it's not a quote, but a way of being about that, which is, it's not like, I'm going to be happy when I get there. It's like, I'm happy now. And I just realized that, like, even in this moment, it's like understanding that as we become more loving and more joyful, like you said, by following our intuition, then the next step, the next experience is an experience of that. But it's not the other way around. It's not like, oh, I need to reach out there in the future and try to get joy and happiness. It's actually, let's shift our vibration now. As you know, Alyssa, which I'd love for you to go a little bit more into the skills and tools that we teach in the club about being able to like transform your energy to be that joy and love, and then exude it and attract that experience. Yeah. Do you actually want to share a little bit about, would you be willing to, about how the skills and the techniques in the club help you get that? Because like I was telling you earlier, one of my teachers was like, it's the experience. Like, you can't really tell somebody how to do it. You have to give them the experience, because then it's their own.
And that's, I think, also why we do so well teaching this, is we're on the same wavelength, but we also have our own different styles. And so everything I've learned is on how to listen to your intuition, how to use NLP, how to clear blocks. But it sort of led me on this path of mindset and where's the neuroscience behind it as well. So I was like, okay, I love the intuition, I love the energy work, but I also want to know the neuroscience behind it. And so I've done a lot of personal research on that. And so it's the things you do like have basis behind them, but I'm like, now I know. Now I can say, oh, well, the reason we do this is because it makes your brain happy. So a lot of it is building habits. So I say it's making your success inevitable, because your habits build up to that. because oftentimes our habits don't support what we're doing and you're fighting your habits. So one, learning to listen to your intuition is a habit rather than, it's going to take time sometimes if you've been ignoring it for a while, but making that habit that you actually listen to it and you notice, you're like, oh, this doesn't feel good right now. Let's explore this. Let's see what's going on. Oh, this feels amazing. I'm going to dive in and just see where it leads me. So habit of following intuition, focusing on your mindset. Where's your, like, are you more positive? Are you more negative? Just becoming more aware of your emotions as well and using that as a guidance and all things that you do. But I'm just like, oh, I wanted to know the science behind it.
Well, it's beautiful because even the club, I, like you, started with intuition, then it was like, oh, NLP, science. Like, we got to blend both of them because I'm all about practical results. I mean, the third part of the program is how to make money. So it's like, we're like really about like being here in reality, because I feel some people used to maybe have thought like, oh, intuition is like out there. I'm like, you will expand your consciousness with intuition, but it is the most practical thing you can follow. Like, it is so down to earth to be intuitive.
And it just helps with anything. I say it's like the foundation. So when I talk to clients, I'm like, first we work on your intuition, connection to your intuition and your mindset. That's the foundation of everything you do, because you can't move forward. It's like a building. If you don't have a strong foundation and you start building a second and a third floor, it's going to sink in, it's going to fall over. So think of everything you do in life as a foundation. It affects your relationships, improves your relationships, your business. Like, that's the whole reason we're doing this. Work less and make more money and love your life.
Yeah, totally. I guess as we're talking, I'm thinking, how can everybody apply this to your life right now? So I really invite everybody just to tune in to your heart, your intuition, just drop into your center and just ask yourself, like, what do I really want? What is my best life? Like, what is it that I'm moving towards next? Just take a moment to feel that. Notice if there's any images that pop. And then ask yourself, why is that even important to you? Like, what's in it for you? Why do you want that experience? Alyssa, did you want to add to that?
Well, that's just I got very clear on what it was. And sort of through the program, I used to be very mind focused. I was like, I want to make this much money a month. I'm going to work this hard to do it. And now mine is, I want freedom. I want flexibility. If I can wake up and choose what I get to do in the morning, I'm still working, but I get to choose it, and I get to decide when I wake up. And I'm going to wake up early because I want to, because I love that time in the morning, or I'm going to sleep in some days.
Yeah.
And so it really comes down to my whole goal is living in flow, ease, freedom, and flexibility. And that sounds, for some people, that might sound very like open, but for me, it gives me the flexibility that I get to choose. And that's what it comes down to. You get to choose how you're going to live.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, as everybody's tuning in to what they're choosing for themselves, what is that? What are the feelings that you're imagining you will experience when you are having this next step of your best life? Is it in your relationship, your personal, professional life? Like, what is it? Just taking a deep breath in and out. And just for a moment, starting to feel what it feels like to have it now. And recognizing that your brain, your subconscious, the reason that we actually help you shift it is it doesn't know the difference between what's real or not real. So when we start bringing in these new neural pathways, you start to follow it. You're like, oh, that feels really good. And then your intuition is like, oh yeah, that does feel good. Okay, or if it doesn't, it moves you in the other direction. So as you're just breathing in and feeling your next step of your best life happening, breathe a little deeper. Notice if there's a color that surrounds you. Starts to open your field, unlock any blocks that might have been there before. Let's just take 3 deep breaths together. Opening and then releasing anything that doesn't serve. And then you're going to want to ask yourself, what new belief do I need that will allow me to have this? You might even want to write that down. Could be something like, I can have what I want now. Just notice how that feels. Good, and then slowly coming back to the room. How was that for everybody? Man, I wish we had the comments available, but we don't. So how was that for you, Liz?
It was awesome. And I think that's part of the magic of what we do too, is that we're checking in on that weekly, because it's very easy to be like, oh yeah, I could do that. But how often do you do it on your own?
Yeah.
And so having that guidance and support, and
yeah,
like that's what we're there for each other too. And
yeah. Totally. And I think the other thing that's popping is results, right? So it's kind of like, each week we're there to support you and coach you through it, whether you're doing private or group coaching with us. So you're applying these techniques like, hey, this manifested, like, I want to share it, or I'm feeling blocked in this area. Can you actually help clear this energy? And then that's why it's like you said, success is inevitable, because when that block is clear, the energy that you want can come to you. It's almost like, I get this image list of like us being mirrors, like we're kind of like feeling our energy, and then the universe is going to mirror back to us exactly where our energy is. So it's like we clear out our energy and we become that magnet for what we want. We're like, oh yeah, that's what I said, of course.
Yeah, it's easy now. Like, yeah, it's totally. Like one that I came up with recently is, it's safe for me to be chosen. Yeah. And that applies to both business, that applies to other, like all areas of life. And it was like, oh, like I didn't have that belief before. And then once I did the work and replaced it with what I needed, it's like, oh, this is so much easier. Like when you have the belief it's not safe for me to be chosen, like you've got this barrier to clients, you've got this barrier to love, you've got this barrier to friendship. And so it's just finding those beliefs there that you've built at some point, and just sort of like, I just think of it as they dissolve, and then you no longer have this roadblock, and that way is open to you now. And that's where
that's good for
it's
me.
The guidance. Yeah. It's almost like, yeah, like as soon as the roadblock's gone, it's free. Like you don't have to do all this huge detour. You're like, oh yeah, clients are so much easier now. And it's accountability too. And sometimes that sounds like an overused word.
Yeah.
But that's what you need when you're at the top. You need someone to support you and hold you, because oftentimes, especially business owners, like you're the only one running it, and you're like, okay, I'm doing it all myself. I got to motivate myself. I got to do this myself. And so just having that guidance, that coach, and that accountability to be like, have you noticed that you're blocked there? Have you noticed that this is recurring? Like, let's do something about it, rather than just trying to keep working harder through it.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the other thing. So I think on our team, we have like 4 or 5 people. And I go to you, like, I'm just about ready after we're done to be like, hey, Liz, can you do a theta on me? So I would love for you to add that little special thing, because that's something that I don't do, but we actually are going to offer as part of the club, because she does it. And so I'm wondering if you can just share a little bit about that, because that's something we haven't covered. And I notice when you do that work on me, things just start shifting so fast. So it's like, we're hitting the NLP, which is the mind level, the intuition level, the business level, which is the one I want to do after the theta thing. And then the theta just almost feels like this even higher spiritual thing. So I'd love for you to just touch on that, because what a gift that we get to like have that gem in the club too.
Yeah. And so that's what I love about just having like different tools in my pocket. So NLP is, we're giving your body the resources and connecting your mind and your body to your emotions and the resources you need. Theta healing is actually, I'm just a conduit. I'm taking the energy of the creator of all that is, universe, source, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to the 7th plane of existence, and through our process. So again, it's sort of like, it's called digging. So it's finding what is the root core belief holding all of these other sticking points. And then so using the source's energy, I just am like, okay, let's clear this belief and replace it. So it's just another tool. Like I'll do NLP and then I'll do theta over the top of it. Or I'll do, sometimes I do tapping and I do theta over the top of it, just to cement it in. Or sometimes I just do theta alone. And so it's finding the core beliefs, and again, just dissolving them and replacing them with a belief that serves you. And theta is so powerful for all different things, but in the end, it comes down to your mindset. What do you believe? And then that affects both your physical body, your I don't know, it even affects like your personality. It's the way you show up in the world, I guess. Not your personality, but the way you show up in the world. and your mindset and all of those pieces. So with theta healing, it can be instant. The process that takes longer is the digging to find the root cause
Mm-hmm.
and shifting that.
Oh my God. And Alyssa's so intuitive. Like, she guessed somebody that I was seeing, like, what he did. And I'm like, I don't know, do you want to share that? Because I was blown away that you could intuit that. So I'm like, she will help you find what it is. But if you want to share how you guessed that,
You know
I'm
what?
like,
Yeah.
I just want to
And
tell
this,
the story a little bit, because it give him a little background, because I just think that, you know, when you're intuitive, you can know that you know something. And like, I really didn't give her any clues, and she guessed this like literally out of the blue. I was at one of my clients' house, who's also another one of my really good friends. And yeah, do you want to share anything about that? Because I'm just
sure.
like, I'm bringing that up because I feel like when you do theta, you have the ability to be like, discern and intuit what is going on underneath the surface. And that's part of the gift I feel that you've gotten from the club, is just to become so intuitive. I was just like, oh my God, of course you're teaching with me. That's insane. I can't even believe you guessed it.
Yeah. And actually, I think that brings up another good conversation we had, where it's first, how do you hear your intuition? So mine is a knowing. I just, like, if something is true, my spine tingles. And I just get like, so some people will walk to a place and they feel energy and they're like, oh, I went to this place and I felt really good energy. I felt bad energy. And I always sort of was like, oh, I don't feel that. So I must not be that intuitive. But then I realized, like, all I have to do is be like, is there good energy here? And then I know. Or is there bad energy here? And then I know.
Right.
So it's being, you know what, I've got a different way. And sometimes, as someone else pointed out, she was like, I'd rather know and just have the truth of it than trying to figure out what the message is.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing to just go back to, is everyone's intuition is different. Like, how would you say you hear your intuition?
It's just like a knowing. So I feel it in my gut. So it's like my heart opens and then I drop into my gut and I get this like yes or no. Similar to what you're saying, it brings me energy. My spine feels like up. If something is not good, I notice there's actually a weakness to my spine.
But you also hear things too, and you feel things.
I'm super clairaudient. Yeah. So I can hear, so it's like an inner ear. So it's almost like you're talking to me, Alyssa, but like I hear it within myself, but it's not really, it's kind of not my voice. It's not like, it's like third person. That's what it is. It's like, don't go that way, go that way, because we're trying to help you avoid something that will hurt you if you go that direction, like a car accident or something, you know? And then, yeah, I also see things. So I just see energy like crazy. I mean, I see it with my physical eye, but also my third eye. And it's funny, I was telling you, I went to a party last night and people just kept staring at my third eye. It was funny. They'd be like, hi, nice to meet you. They're like staring right at my third eye. I'm like, hi, nice to meet you too. So funny. Yeah. So anyways.
So yes, so going back to that. So knowing, I just know things. And so sometimes when this is, again, as you listen to your intuition more, you get more aware of it, especially with knowing, because sometimes it's just subtle, and if you're not paying attention, it passes. And so we were talking about this person, and she was like, I think the only clues were, oh, he goes away on the weekend sometimes and gets paid or gets money. And at one point you mentioned he was going on a trip, and I was just like, oh, is he a poker player?
I was like, what? Like, I see a professional poker player. I was like, of all the things, like, who would guess that? You know, like, I was just blown away. So point being that, like, your intuition can know things and just get drop-ins, you know, like, I mean, I remember I left my scholarship and I had a friend that was like, I was like, oh, maybe I should go back to school. Like, I need to go prove that I can do school, which I did. And then I didn't like it. I left again. But my point was like, I must need to go learn knowledge. And she's like, Abby, everything's already within you. And it's within you and me and everybody. I believe we can tap into universal intelligence at any moment. So the point is, like, I literally will get words dropped in that I don't even know what they mean. And I'll speak it and then people are like, whoa, where'd you get that word? I'm like, it just came in. So it's kind of like we can intuit anything we need to know, period. So when you actually work through the chakras and the intuitive factor, which is the first part of the process, you start to open up to your knowing, like, beyond belief. And then you shift your beliefs. And then the third part of it is the manifesting business factor. So ironically, so many of my clients, as you know, have like made a lot of money and have these businesses. But what I think they like even more is they're happy and they have the most amazing personal relationships because they get clear with themselves. You know, I mean, almost every everyone that I can think of, has manifested an amazing relationship or health or something that just makes them feel good from the inside out. So I feel like, whether you're wanting to create a business or just your next level of your personal life, for a lot of us, like, our relationships personally are so important, and health is so important, especially now. To really be able to master your energy is to master your life. And that's really what we teach you in the Intuitive Success Club.
Mm-hmm. And we've talked about this in past episodes too, but like, it's led to my dream relationship, and it's led to all of these opportunities in my life in multiple businesses and multiple streams of income.
Right.
And it's sometimes like, everyone's like, oh, just focus on one path. And you're like, you told me one time, it's okay. You're like, you're multifaceted, and you can have multiple streams of income and do multiple things. And it's like, yes, that's what makes me happy, is when I get to have multiple businesses, multiple streams of income, and being okay with myself being like, yes, this is what you can do, not having to listen to everyone else's voice. And so when you find the truth within you, you can stand strong in the voice of other people's opinions.
Yeah, no, my friend Nathan came over last night and he's like, Abby, I don't take anybody's advice. And I'm like, you're right. No, we shouldn't. Like, we all know the truth is in us. Why are we even listening to other people's advice? Like, it's so silly. Like, we can help guide you because you actually know the answer, right? But it's like, don't even listen to us. Listen to yourself. And you'll notice that what we say probably resonates as truth, right? It feels right. So that's why you're actually trusting yourself. So I think, anytime somebody offers their opinion, it's for you. Man, I used to say this in the very beginning of my practice. Oh my God, I remember being like, okay, because I would just trust. Here I'm like 19 and there's like a 50-year-old in front of me. I'm like, okay, I better just trust what comes through. Because if I was to get in my intellectual head about it, I'd be like, oh my God, what do I say? But I'm like, nope, gonna go through my intuition and just channel. And so then I would preface it with, I'm just going to go ahead and speak whatever comes through, and only you take what resonates. You only take what's true for you. And then it's like, I'm off the hook because I'm not responsible for their life, but I'm helping them. And then they can use their own intuition to discern, yes, what Abby just said was true. And luckily, most people listen, especially clients, and follow it and get amazing results. My point is, though, you or the people I'm working with can feel it's true, which is your intuition guiding you. So I'm more just supporting you to access your inner guide. So is Alyssa, right? And, we can offer what we've learned along the way. I mean, that's kind of, for me, and I'm pretty sure Alyssa, one of our greatest joys is to like support and assist that, like, hey, we want to like give you what we've received so the path can be easier for you, so you can live your best
life. Yeah. And it's my greatest joy is watching clients do the things on their own and be like, it's not me taking credit. It's like, look what they're able to do because they're following these processes. Like, it's not my stuff. This is this is the universe. This is the way the universe works. But I get to open the door to them, and then they step into this awesomeness. Like, some of them, it's just, they even bring it to their husbands. They're like, oh yeah, my husband does the coaching things that I learned for you too.
So cool.
And so it's built a stronger relationship there. And another client, he's a business owner, but he actually joined because he's like, I have these personal goals that I want to work on. And I just checked in with him because he's had some stuff going on lately, and he's like, no, I'm going to be there today. I need to be there because it makes such a difference in my life when I am part of the coaching. So it's for all different areas, and that's what's so cool. And the other thing I was going to say is, if you are going to ask people for advice who are where you want to be. That's the only time someone has actually worthwhile advice, is if they're where you want to be. Don't ask other people at your level or not even in a related area.
Yeah, I love that. Same message. Yeah, it's so true. Love it. Well said. Beautiful. So beautiful. Wow. Well, if you'd like to learn more about what we're talking about, you can go to www.theintuitivesuccessclub.com, and you can read about the different factors. You can schedule an intro call with us, and it's really going to just be to help you go deeper into what your vision, your dream, your goals are, and then we can help assist you to clear those blocks and see what the next steps are for you. Alyssa, if you want to share a little bit about the group program and private coaching, about how that works in conjunction with the classes, which people get every week, just so you know. But if you want to share a little bit more about that, that'd be great.
Yeah, and definitely. And so it's funny because I was always like, individual coaching is the best. And then I've run a bunch of group coaching programs over the last year, and I'm like, oh, there's benefits to both. So it depends on what you're looking for. So individual coaching, you would pick one of us and you get to work with us one-on-one every week. You get the same curriculum, but we're working targeted, focused on clearing your blocks and beliefs, which means you get to supercharge your life. So it's awesome. That's the best part about one-on-one coaching, is you get to make all of these massive changes so quickly. And then on the other side, the group coaching is really cool because you get both of us. So we do the group coaching program together. You get both of us. You're very, very heart-centered. I'm very intuitive, but sometimes I'm a little bit more like, this is how it is. Here's the core of the truth. Let's just get to that now. Like,
do it
so
now.
you get both. Yeah. So we're both loving, and we're both like, here's how to do it. But then we can also like come in and support you in both ways. And really, it's like a friendship. It's a community. Either way, private coaching or group coaching. But with the group coaching, so you're in, it's a program with up to 10 people, but you get private time with us still, but you also get the community. So you get to hear other people's questions and other people's insights. And what I like about this is I have been in group programs that weren't effective. So I took what my experiences are, and we've crafted this to be effective. And we're like, you still need the private individual time, but this way you get the community, you get, it's a growth together. It's friendship. When you're in a community of other business owners or other intuitives, or those who are on the path to becoming more intuitive, like I've got group chats. Each of my coaching programs has a group chat, and like, it's become a friendship. So it's more than just business. It becomes a soul connection.
Yeah. 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 So a couple of things that I wanted to mention on that, and then if you can dive a little bit into the curriculum. But so number one, with personal coaching, I just ask that you connect in with your heart and your intuition and see if you feel called to either work with Alyssa or you'll feel the pull. So anybody that wants to work with me, like there's like, hey, Abby, I got to work with you. Like, how much does it cost? Like, it's a very, and same thing with Alyssa, right? It's like, hey,
yeah, when do we start? Yeah.
Right. So I just feel like, notice if you're feeling pulled that you want that just individual attention, that it's just between you and like us and you, right? So it's just, you need that personal, intimate connection. The group coaching is obviously you get Alyssa and I both, and you're going to be sharing it in a community. So that's more how your heart feels if you want to be in that open space. When I first started the Intuitive Success coaching process, it actually started as a school. So now we call it the club. But it was, first of all, it was just one student at the very beginning. And I was like, all right, if I just have one, that's enough. I know that it'll work. The next class was 11 people in my living room in La Jolla, California. It was absolutely beautiful. And to see the group dynamic of people sharing and then other people relating, and then it feeling safe because it's like, oh, I'm not alone. This person feels that same way. So there's a different energy where things can kind of bounce off each other, and you can feel this unity and this connection, even though at the beginning it might feel a little vulnerable to share, you know, what's going on here. It's such a beautifully safe, held container. So I just want to give you that understanding of what that is. And now it's all online. So anyways, yeah, the intuitivesuccessclub.com will show you more about the different modules that we're going to teach, which Alyssa can go into a little bit more about what the curriculum is and what you can expect to get as you're going through the process. And I still, like, in the last couple of months, I've had people like, Abby, can I get certified before I'm done? And I'm like, no, like, you have to finish it, because it truly is a process of activating all of your energy, clearing your blocks, and then getting to the business and the life that you want. Because like you said from the beginning, it's setting the structure, like, in the foundation of the house called your life, you know? And so if you skip a step, you're not going to get the full process and experience and the way that it will serve you for a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. And it's just so powerful. And so the curriculum it's weekly. So you get a weekly video, and there's a worksheet that goes along with it. So you're doing the journaling by yourself, but then we check in with you. We're like, okay, any questions that came up? What did you notice? What came up? So you're getting that accountability. So it's almost like you get the class, and then you get the check-in. But also in the class, we're like, okay, what challenges are coming up this week? What do we need to work through? So it's like, okay, what did you notice? What came up from the worksheet? What came up from life? And how can we clear that for you? And so it's connecting. First round is the intuitive factor, is connecting you to your intuition, aligning all of your chakras, getting you more in tune with yourself. There's there's all these awesome meditations and
You can
just different.
become clairvoyant. I mean, or clairaudient. I mean, it starts opening up your channels. Like clients are
Yeah,
like, I see orbs. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go
that's
ahead.
awesome. Yeah. Um, and then the NLP factor is, again, teaching you how to work to clear your own blocks and beliefs. So we work there and help you to it, but you're understanding the basis so that you know how it works. So you also have these tools and resources yourself, because that's a lifelong skill too. When you can clear your own blocks, sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes you're like, I don't. Or that's why you've got
Yeah,
coaches. That's why we've got coaches, because we're like, I know this is a block, but I really don't want to clear it. So can you help me?
yeah,
And
totally.
so, yeah, so you get the tools and resources. And then the business factor is bringing all of this together. How I look at it as, so I tell clients, it's a lifestyle goal. How does your business fit that? And how do you make that become the business of your dreams and have the life of your dreams?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You know, and some people are like, oh, I don't really want to like have a business. So I don't want you to think, oh, I can't do the club because I don't want to have a business. You don't have to have a business. It can be manifesting something in your life. Like I said, your health, a relationship, a new home. You know, both Alyssa and I have, you know, manifested our homes where we wanted to live, the places we wanted to live. So it's just kind of like, you know, think about again, what is it that you want and why, and start moving into that. And then I just invite you to schedule an intro call, because we can only do so much, you know, in a thing like this, but to really actually dive in deep for you. And there's no pressure. There's just love. Like, we're here to support you. We're here to love you through it and to really see you at your best. You know, when I first started, and it probably still is my tagline, which is illuminating the path of your highest potential. Right? So when you follow your intuition, you're going to be living that. It's there.
Mm-hmm. And this is more of the harder side of it too, but we only want to work with people that want to work with us. So we're only going to work with those that are drawn to us. And that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, it brought me up, just believe. Like, just believe and trust yourself. That's really what we're creating, is your own belief. And that was last week's video on Oneness Talk Radio, about belief. So
Yeah.
again, if you just need a little bit more information, you want to watch us a little bit more, go back to some of the previous videos. And so last week, February 28th video was on belief. Just
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I told you how you're like, she's very direct. Like, this is how it is.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, we love you. We're going to accept you, but we're also going to be like, we're not going to force you. Like, we don't want to be with people. We want to be with people who are a part of our community and tribe, because we want to have a business we love too. And so we love supporting the people who are focused and driven and want to see changes in their life and want to fully embody this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know for me, like, having a business I love, it's just my life. Like, it's funny. Alyssa and I, we have different ways of being. She usually doesn't work on the weekends and I usually do. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Because like, my business is just my life, you know, but we still, you know, she has obviously her business too. And it's like, she gets to structure her business. Like, hey, I don't really want to work weekends. So that's the beauty of like creating your life by design, is you decide how you want to do it. But I think the other thing that I wanted to say about that is, you know, really ask yourself, do you want the change? Because before anybody signs up with me, I'm like, or us now, you know, I'm like, hey, like, do you really want this? Because your life is going to significantly change. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago, Liz. I remember Sai and I went to Thailand. And I still want to do more of these, but the COVID thing kind of put a little damper in it a little bit, but doing international retreats, right? So we're doing the intuitive factor in Thailand, and I think we're on like day 4. And one of my students was sitting under the Kuan Yin temple, so gorgeous. And there was just some activation that happened for her. And I was like, oh my God, like something is going to shift so huge for her. She comes back to America. I think she got like, I want to say like double, significant job promotion, significant. And I think by the end of that year, she had enough money to buy a home, her own home. It was like New York area, and started like a new business / wellness center there. So I'm just telling you, the shifts are like so huge that when you start getting activated on your soul's path and you do everything that we're saying as far as the belief shifts, like, I mean, it's insanity, you know, like in a good way. Like, I mean, people that like couldn't even see, the doctors were like, oh, you can't, you know, I remember this was over 10 years ago. They were like, oh yeah, you're blind. And I was like, oh no, we're going to clear some past lives because it's just the way you're seeing the world. Did session, she can cut and pick and see now, you know? And she's like sending me these pictures of her that are gorgeous. Her eyes are like beaming at me. And I'm just like, okay, anything is possible with energy and like pure intention and love. You know, another student, they were like, oh, you can't walk. And I'm like, oh no, yes, you can. That was actually the second class of 11 people. She walks out down the beach with us. So I'm just saying, if
Wow.
you truly can do, I want to say anything with this work because you are mastering your energy and mastering your life. So again, if you want to go to www.theintuitivesuccessclub.com, you can also send us an email to success@lifeforceconnection.com and we'll set you up with an intro session. I know we're just about out of time as far as what we need to do next before we can get this up. But just let me know, is there anything else you want to share, Alyssa? Yeah.
Just listen to your heart. And I joined this program because I was like, I'd seen Abby. I hadn't even met you in person. I finally saw you in person. I was like, we have to meet for coffee. And then I was like, I need to work with you. And so I just trusted my intuition. I was at a point when I knew I had my intuition, but I wasn't really listening to it. And I was like, you know what? I need this. Like, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's really like, just feel what you're called to. Maybe you're called, like, whatever you're called to, just follow that today. Like,
Yeah.
reach out if you want to. Like, maybe it's something in business, maybe it's something in life, maybe it's reaching out to friends you haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah.
Just sort of start playing with that game. What is my intuition saying?
Yeah. I love it. So beautiful. Well, we love you. So happy that you're here with us today, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Bye.
Bye.